A moment of reflection. Elon Musk sat silently in the parking lot, his back against the curb, the cool evening air brushing against his face. The world around him moved on as though nothing extraordinary had happened, but within him a storm brewed. The echoes of the cashier's mocking laughter and the crowd's derisive whispers replayed in his mind. For someone who had faced countless challenges in revolutionizing industries, this felt surprisingly personal. He hadn't shopped for himself in years, not because he felt too important, but because life's demands had made even the simplest tasks feel unattainable. Today was supposed to be different. He wanted to reconnect with normalcy, to escape the constant noise of billion-dollar decisions and the weight of his public persona. Instead, he had walked straight into an experience that stripped him bare of his identity, turning humiliation into determination. Elon's phone buzzed in his pocket. He considered ignoring it, but decided against it. The screen lit up with a message from his assistant asking if everything was all right. He replied curtly, "All good." But it wasn't. He stared at the store that had just ejected him, the bright fluorescent lights illuminating the faces of those who had mocked him. "Why did I let this happen?" he muttered. "Why didn't I just leave sooner?" But Elon wasn't one to wallow in self-pity. He had built his life on resilience, on turning obstacles into opportunities. Slowly, he stood up, brushing off the dust from his jeans. His face was calm now, though his eyes burned with a sense of purpose, a plan in motion. The following day, Elon sat in a conference room at Tesla's headquarters, but his mind wasn't on electric cars or rockets. Instead, he was drafting an idea that would not only address the humiliation he'd faced, but also highlight the importance of empathy and dignity for all. His first step was subtle but deliberate. He decided to purchase the small grocery store where the incident had occurred, not out of spite, but to transform it into something meaningful. He envisioned a place where everyone, regardless of appearance or background, could shop without judgment. A surprising turn of events. A week later, the cashier who had mocked him, whose name tag read Jessica, arrived at work to find the store buzzing with unusual activity. Managers were whispering, shelves were being rearranged, and there was talk of a new owner. Jessica rolled her eyes, assuming the changes would make her job harder. By midday, the new owner arrived. When Jessica saw him, her heart sank. It was the man she had humiliated. Elon Musk, she whispered, her face draining of color. He walked in calmly, dressed much like he had been the day she dismissed him, a hoodie and jeans with scuffed shoes. This time, however, there was no mistaking who he was. The manager who had doubted his identity was already standing by the door, fidgeting nervously. Elon walked past him without a glance and addressed the staff. "I'm Elon Musk," he began, his voice steady but firm. "Some of you may already know who I am, but that's not important. What is important is the way we treat people, no matter who they are or what they look like." The staff stood in stunned silence. Jessica felt a lump forming in her throat. She wanted to disappear, but her feet were rooted to the ground. "This store is now under my ownership," Elon continued, "and it's going to be run differently. We're going to make this a place where everyone feels respected and valued." He turned to Jessica and the manager, his expression softening slightly. "We all make mistakes. What matters is that we learn from them. Today is the start of something new, for this store, for all of you, and for me. A store with a mission." Over the next few weeks, the store underwent a transformation. Elon introduced policies to ensure no customer would ever feel judged or unwelcome. He installed state-of-the-art self-checkout systems, reducing the chances of bias during interactions. A community board was added near the entrance, showcasing local charities, job opportunities, and messages of encouragement. Jessica, who had been on the verge of quitting out of shame, stayed on. She approached Elon one day, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry for how I treated you," she said. "I didn't know." Elon looked at her, his expression unreadable. Then he said, "It's not about who I am. It's about who you choose to be moving forward." Jessica nodded, understanding the depth of his words. From that day on, she worked harder than ever, not just at her job, but at treating every customer with kindness. The ripple effect. Word of the store's transformation spread quickly. Customers noticed the changes and shared their experiences on social media. What had once been a small, overlooked grocery store became a symbol of inclusivity and respect. People traveled from neighboring towns to witness the change, inspired by the story behind it. Elon rarely visited the store after its reopening, preferring to let the community take ownership of its success. But his impact was undeniable. He had turned an embarrassing moment into a powerful lesson, not just for the staff who worked there, but for everyone who heard the story. Months later, Jessica reflected on how much her life had changed since that fateful day. She realized that her quick judgments and sarcastic attitude had been a defense mechanism, born from her own insecurities. But now she carried herself differently, with a newfound sense of humility and purpose. Elon, meanwhile, continued his work in technology and space exploration, but the grocery store remained a quiet reminder of the importance of humanity in every interaction. It doesn't take billions of dollars or grand gestures to make a difference. Sometimes it's as simple as treating people with dignity, no matter who they are or what they seem to represent. And for Elon Musk, that day in the grocery store became a testament to the power of turning adversity into a force for good. A vision beyond the store. Elon's transformation of the grocery store was only the beginning of what would become a far-reaching initiative. While the store itself became a beacon of hope and respect in the local community, Elon couldn't shake the deeper implications of what he had experienced. If such judgment and disdain could occur in a small neighborhood grocery store, how many other people faced similar treatment daily? The thought troubled him deeply. Elon sat in his home office late one night, staring at a blank whiteboard. His mind swirled with ideas, each one more ambitious than the last. Eventually, he picked up a marker and wrote 3 words in bold letters. Project Humanity First. Project Humanity First takes shape. The goal of Project Humanity First was simple yet profound: to promote kindness, dignity, and respect across all industries and interactions. Elon envisioned a multi-pronged approach that combined technology, education, and community engagement to reshape how people treated one another. Technology for equality. Elon began by reaching out to his engineers at Tesla and SpaceX, asking them to brainstorm ways technology could reduce bias and foster inclusivity. One team developed a universal payment system that eliminated visible socioeconomic markers like premium cards or cash, ensuring every customer could transact without fear of judgment. The system would allow users to link their accounts anonymously, focusing on what they purchased rather than how they paid. This system, dubbed Equal Pay, was piloted in the grocery store and quickly became a hit. Customers loved the ease and privacy it offered, and Elon decided to roll it out nationwide, partnering with other businesses to promote its use. Empathy training for businesses. Elon recognized that changing systems alone wasn't enough. True change required a shift in mindset. He launched a training program for businesses that emphasized empathy, active listening, and the value of diverse perspectives. The program, which Elon personally funded, was offered free to small businesses and schools, making it accessible to communities often overlooked. The grocery store staff, including Jessica, were the first to complete the training. Jessica, in particular, found it transformative. "I didn't realize how much my own struggles shaped the way I saw others," she admitted during one of the sessions. "Now I see how important it is to pause and approach everyone with kindness." The impact grows. Within months, the effects of Project Humanity First were undeniable. Small businesses reported higher customer satisfaction, schools reported fewer incidents of bullying, and individuals shared countless stories of positive interactions sparked by the program. Jessica became an unofficial ambassador for the project. Her candid account of how she had treated Elon and how she had grown from the experience resonated deeply with others. She began speaking at community events, sharing her story not with shame but with pride in how far she had come. The grocery store became a hub for these events, hosting workshops, open forums, and celebrations of diversity. It was no longer just a place to buy bread and milk. It was a symbol of what could happen when people chose to treat each other with respect. A global movement. As Project Humanity first gained momentum, it expanded beyond Elon's initial vision. Cities around the world adopted its principles, incorporating them into public policies and community programs. Major corporations reached out to Elon, asking for guidance on implementing similar changes in their workplaces. Elon remained humble throughout it all, refusing to take credit for the project's success. "This isn't about me," he said in an interview. "It's about us, about humanity. We all have the power to make someone's day better or worse with a single interaction." Project Humanity First is a reminder of that power. A reunion in the grocery store. A year after the incident that started it all, Elon returned to the grocery store for the first time. This time, he was greeted with warm smiles and genuine gratitude. Jessica, now the store's assistant manager, approached him with a basket in hand. "Welcome back, Mr. Musk," she said with a laugh. "No need to carry your own basket today. We've got you covered." Elon chuckled, shaking his head. "Call me Elon, and I think I'll carry my own basket, thanks. Some habits are worth keeping." As he walked through the aisles, he marveled at how much had changed. The once ordinary store was now vibrant with life and community. A bulletin board near the entrance displayed photos of smiling customers and staff, testimonials from people whose lives had been touched by Project Humanity First, and upcoming events aimed at spreading its message further. A lesson for the ages. When Elon reached the checkout counter, he found Jessica waiting for him. She scanned his items with a practiced ease, her demeanor warm and professional. When the transaction was complete, she handed him his receipt and hesitated for a moment. "Thank you," she said softly. "Not just for what you've done for the store, but for giving me a second chance." Elon smiled, his eyes kind. "You gave yourself that chance, Jessica. I just gave you the space to take it." As Elon walked out of the store, bread, milk, and a chocolate bar in hand, he felt a sense of fulfillment that no amount of money or accolades could match. He had turned a moment of humiliation into a movement of hope, a reminder that even the smallest actions could ripple outward, changing lives in ways no one could predict. The ongoing journey, Project Humanity First, continued to grow, becoming a global symbol of kindness and empathy. Elon's story became a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of seeing the humanity in everyone, no matter how they appear or what they're going through. And for the millions who heard his story, the lesson was clear. The way we treat each other matters. Always. Expanding horizons. As Project Humanity First blossomed, Elon realized it was time to expand its mission even further. The grocery store had become a symbolic starting point, but humanity's challenges spanned far beyond the walls of retail. From hospitals to schools, transportation systems to corporate offices, Elon knew there were countless spaces where dignity and empathy were lacking. Sitting in a quiet corner of SpaceX's headquarters late one evening, he jotted down a new plan. He didn't just want to change attitudes. He wanted to build systems that would cultivate kindness as a natural outcome. With a determined look in his eyes, he wrote the title of his next initiative, Building Empathy Systems. The ripple effect was built around one guiding principle: small acts of kindness could spark transformative change. But for this to work, those acts needed to be encouraged, recognized, and amplified. Kindness hubs. Elon partnered with urban developers to establish kindness hubs in cities around the world. These hubs were designed as community spaces where people could exchange resources, share stories, and participate in workshops that fostered understanding. Each hub featured a digital ripple wall, where individuals could post acts of kindness they had experienced or witnessed, creating a live stream of positivity. These walls became a global phenomenon. Messages like, "A stranger paid for my coffee today," or "My neighbor helped me carry groceries," began appearing across cities, spreading a sense of collective hope. Education for empathy. Elon also recognized the importance of instilling empathy in future generations. He reached out to schools and educational leaders to design a curriculum called The Human Connection, focused on teaching students emotional intelligence, active listening, and conflict resolution. The program wasn't just theoretical. It incorporated role-playing exercises, real-world problem-solving, and community projects. Children worked together to solve local issues, from cleaning up parks to organizing food drives. By the end of the program, students weren't just learning about kindness, they were practicing it. One school in Chicago saw bullying rates drop by 80% after implementing the curriculum. Teachers reported that students were more engaged, compassionate, and willing to help their peers. Changing the workplace culture. Elon's next target was the workplace. He believed that companies could become engines of empathy and that workspaces could be designed to nurture collaboration and respect. The Empathy Index. Elon's team developed an innovative tool called the Empathy Index, a system that allowed employees to rate their workplace culture anonymously. Metrics included how valued they felt, whether their voices were heard, and how conflicts were handled. Companies that scored high on the Empathy Index received public recognition, boosting their reputation and attracting talent. Those with lower scores received personalized action plans, funded by Project Humanity First, to improve their workplace environments. Within a year, some of the world's largest corporations adopted the Empathy Index, setting a new standard for workplace culture. Employees reported feeling more connected to their colleagues, and productivity soared as toxic behaviors diminished. Jessica's unexpected journey. Meanwhile, back at the grocery store, Jessica's life continued to evolve in unexpected ways. After completing the empathy training and thriving as the assistant manager, she discovered she had a knack for helping people. Inspired by Project Humanity First, she began volunteering at a local kindness hub, sharing her story with visitors and organizing events to build community. One evening, while hosting a workshop on overcoming biases, she was approached by a woman named Clara, a social worker who was impressed by Jessica's ability to connect with others. Clara suggested that Jessica consider pursuing a career in community development. At first, Jessica hesitated. "I'm just a cashier," she said, but Clara shook her head. "No, you're a leader, and you're already making a difference." With Clara's encouragement, Jessica applied for a program in community leadership. To her surprise, Elon himself heard about her application and personally wrote a recommendation letter, calling her a living example of the power of transformation. Jessica was accepted into the program and began a new chapter in her life. She often thought back to that fateful day when she had mocked a man she didn't recognize, only to discover he would change her life forever. A galactic vision. As the ripple effect gained momentum on Earth, Elon's thoughts turned skyward. If humanity could transform how it treated one another on this planet, why not carry those lessons into space? SpaceX had long been focused on making Mars habitable, but Elon wanted more than just survival on the red planet. He wanted to ensure that the values of empathy and collaboration were baked into the foundations of a new civilization. He proposed a bold plan. The first settlers on Mars would undergo intensive empathy and cooperation training, ensuring that the mistakes of Earth, division, inequality, and conflict, would not be repeated. These settlers would serve as ambassadors of kindness, building a society rooted in respect for one another and their environment. The idea was met with skepticism at first, but Elon's passion won people over. "If we're going to start anew," he said, "let's start with the best parts of who we are." The ripple becomes a wave. Years passed, and the ripple effect continued to grow. Kindness hubs became staples in cities worldwide, and the Empathy Index reshaped corporate culture. Schools adopted the Human Connection curriculum as a standard, and workplaces became more inclusive and supportive. Jessica, now a respected community leader, often spoke at global conferences about her journey. Her story inspired countless others to examine their own biases and strive for personal growth. Elon, meanwhile, watched with quiet pride as his vision unfolded. He had set out to change a single grocery store, but ended up sparking a global movement. A legacy of kindness. One day, Elon returned to the original kindness hub, the grocery store that had started it all. He stood before the Ripple wall, reading the messages left by strangers whose lives had been touched by acts of kindness. One note caught his eye. To the man who turned humiliation into hope. Thank you. You showed me that even the worst moments can lead to the brightest futures. Elon smiled, his heart full. The world wasn't perfect, and there was still much work to be done. But he had seen firsthand how powerful a single act of kindness could be. And as he walked out into the bustling street, he felt confident that humanity was moving toward a future where empathy wasn't just a choice, it was a way of life. As Elon Musk stood outside the grocery store, the place where this incredible journey began, he reflected on how a simple act of being treated poorly had sparked a transformation far beyond anything he could have imagined. It wasn't the humiliation that defined him, but what he chose to do with it. He could have walked away, angry and bitter, but instead, he turned that moment into a movement that would impact millions. A lesson in resilience. The story of Elon's experience at the grocery store serves as a powerful reminder. Life is filled with moments that test us. Sometimes we'll face judgment, misunderstanding, or even outright humiliation. But these moments don't have to defeat us. Instead, they can be the catalysts for change within ourselves and the world around us. The key lies in how we respond. A lesson in humility. For Elon, the experience was also a humbling one. It reminded him that wealth, success, or fame doesn't shield anyone from the judgments of others. It taught him the importance of staying grounded and connected to the realities of everyday people. His journey showed that no matter who we are, we all have a responsibility to treat others with respect and kindness. A lesson in empathy. The cashier, Jessica, became a testament to the power of personal growth and redemption. Her willingness to confront her mistakes and change her behavior showed that no one is beyond the capacity for transformation. Her story reminds us that empathy isn't just about understanding others. It's about allowing others the space to grow and become better versions of themselves. A call to action. The movement that grew from this single incident, Project Humanity First, and the ripple effect, demonstrates the incredible power of collective action. Each of us has the ability to make the world a kinder, more inclusive place. It doesn't take billions of dollars or grand gestures. It can start with something as simple as a smile, a kind word, or withholding judgment when we're tempted to make assumptions about someone. The final message. As Elon walked away from the store that day, he left behind more than just a legacy of kindness. He left behind a challenge for everyone. To see every interaction as an opportunity to lift someone up instead of tearing them down. Because at the end of the day, it isn't about what we own, how much we earn, or what titles we hold. It's about how we treat each other. That is the true measure of humanity. So, the next time you face a moment of frustration or encounter someone who seems different from you, remember this story. Choose kindness. Choose empathy. And watch as the ripple of your actions spreads far beyond what you could ever imagine.